Once again, a sports rally on Z101.9, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. Well, very soon I'll be introducing my guest on the show this morning. But then Jonathan is here to give us the fixtures for the European matches that will be coming on across this weekend from England to Spain to Germany and in France. Jonathan, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Nice. How was your week?
So far, the week was, fantastic. UCL football is finally back, so we got to see some fantastic matchups there. Some smaller clubs far away in their league were just beating some big clubs. Some giants even in Europe. We saw the big names too who are already poised for action, willing to take on the UCL by storm. Started with, flamboyant win. Some were scoring 9 with Vincent Kompany trying to prove a point to fans out there. Meanwhile, the club that, they think they are done. FC Barcelona, they came to France and they were just, another bad performance from them, getting a red card in the first 10 minutes in the game against Monaco. So far this season, they've been beaten by Monaco by 2 times in their own trophy, the Gampa. All these things, spicing up the week to make football so impactful. And tennis too, their boxing will actually be there. So I think the week was, successful one for football fans out there and also sports in general.
But then, Vincent Kompany, he's actually making a statement. Last weekend, his team won against hosting Kiel by 5-1. Hurricane scoring most of the goals. They also won just in midweek by 9-2. Do you think they are the team to beat in Europe at the moment, or it's still just Bayern Munich? When it comes to these stages of the competition, they are just good.
To me, it's still just Bayern Munich. We are talking about a stage where you are meeting Dynamo Zagreb. You scored them 9. You were also able to beat Holstein Kiel far away in the German Bundesliga. So sometimes the quality of the team speaks for itself. Because if you have someone like Hurricane who will not even miss a penalty, scoring 4 penalties in the UCL game, it's normal for Hurricane to do that. If you have Olise, if you have Jamal Musiala playing. But the problem is, it is high time they have to understand that we are playing against clubs that we can overpower, we can beat. So we have to win with the format of the new UCL. Because I bet you, this same coach, Vincent Kompany, can't stand tactically with even someone like Unai Emery of Aston Villa.
You know what? We'll definitely be talking a little bit more about the UEFA Champions League. But then, just for the purpose of those listening, so this is what will happen. Unlike the previous format of the UEFA Champions League, where the top 2 teams in each group progress to the knockout stages, with this one, it's actually in a table format. So after all the round of matches, the best 8 teams would advance to the next stage, with the next 8 teams facing another 8 teams in what we call a playoff format. So it is not like the previous format. But then, Jonathan, just run us through the matches that will be coming up this weekend in the English Premier League and, of course, in the other leagues across Europe.
Sure. So we'll be taking a look at the major European leagues and also the fixtures that will be making, football impactful during this week. But first, we can't go far away without looking at the Ghana Premier League. So we'll be looking at the Ghana Premier League fixtures as well. We're here, we are having problems with pitches, but still Ghana Premier League will be back this weekend with some fine fixtures. Vision FC will be hosting Legon Cities at the Ni Ajay Dakon Sports Complex exactly 3 p.m. today. And also on Sunday, BBN Gold Stars will be playing against newly promoted side Basaki. I think now we can stop that newly promoted side because they were able to shock us on match day 1, but they are still newly promoted side. They'll be playing against BBN Gold Stars exactly 3 p.m. as well. Karela United will be hosting Accra Lions. Accra Lions, after losing some key players, struggling to beat even Vision FC. I think they'll have to bounce back in this game against Karela, but that place is a difficult ground for them. To the Na Sheriga Sports Complex, exactly 3 p.m. And also, Adriana Stars will be playing against Nations FC at the Nana Ajima in Badu, the second park. Asante Kotoko will be playing against Young Apostles. But the fixture will be played at the Obuasi Lane Clay Sports Stadium. Prosper Nate Ogun during the week also had something to tell the fans of Kumasi Asante Kotoko that although they are playing at the Obuasi Lane Clay Sports Stadium, but Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans have to troop into Obuasi because they also have good results over there. They were able to win their game against Karela at the Nash Sheriga complex. The Saw fans were far away in the Nash Sheriga complex to support. So Prosper Nateogum is also urging fans to troop into Obuasi to support the team against Obuasi, against Lane Clay Sports Stadium, Young Apostles. So Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans, no more Babayara, but Obuasi Lane Clay Sports Stadium. You'll be listening to Coach Prosper Nateogum urging Asante Kotoko fans for their game.
The number 12 player, which is the fan, to give us the confidence to be able to play well and then win. But then, even though we are going to Obuasi, I know the typical Kotoko supporter who really loves Kotoko will travel and come to Obuasi. And mind you, just as a reminder, and I think you know it already, if we go to Obuasi and we do well, still these supporters will travel and come there. They don't care about the distance. Once Kotoko is playing well and Kotoko is winning, wherever you take Kotoko to, our supporters will come. But then if we were to have our own, if we were to play here or we were to have our own stadium and we were to play there, when it comes to revenue generation, most of them, the revenue that will be accrued will come to us. But then here is the case that I'm very sure where we are going to definitely.
So where they are going to Obuasi, not far of a match from, Babayara Sports Stadium. So fans of the Porcupine Warriors will be hoping to troop in to support their darling club with their fine start to the Ghana Premier League. And also their arch rivals, Hearts of Folk, will be playing against Bechem United exactly 6 p.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium. So today, our listeners will be willing to have some talk with Hearts of Folk, their PRO Daniel Opare Ado, to give us updates on how they are going to get the awareness of their fans that they are no more using their Accra Sports Stadium but also the University of Ghana Stadium. And also on Monday, Ghana Premier League 1 fixture will be taking place between Dreams FC will be hosting Hearts of Lions at the Ni Ajay Kraku II Sports Complex. But there are some teams in here postponed matches. Mediama SC was supposed to play against Samatex, but as we know, Samatex will be in action against Raja Club Casablanca of Morocco. So they will not be in action in the Ghana Premier League, leaving that game postponed. In Swatreman FC also with Constantine return leg. So that game against Brekum Chelsea is also postponed over. They will be moving from the shores of Ghana as we are going to the German Bundesliga over the weekend. Yesterday, Men's 05 were able to strike a win against Osbeck. As on Saturday, today in the German Bundesliga, FC Heidenheim will be playing against Freiburg. Union Berlin will be hosting Hoffenheim United as Bochum will be playing against Holstein Kiel, with Werder Bremen playing against Bayern Munich. Informed Bayern Munich playing against them is very, very stressful because they are going to stretch you over there with numerous goals and counter attacks. Frankfurt will be hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach. That will be the final game for the German Bundesliga today. But on Sunday too, there are some fixtures in the German Bundesliga as Bayer 04 Leverkusen will be hosting Wolfsburg and Stuttgart will be playing against Borussia Dortmund, with the final game wrapping up the German Bundesliga will be between St. Pauli and also RB Leipzig. We'll be doing some fixtures in the Spanish La Liga Santander as Sevilla had a defeat against Alaves yesterday to start the fixtures in the Spanish La Liga. But today, exactly 1 p.m., Real Valladolid will be hosting Real Sociedad at the Carolina, with Osasuna also playing against UD Las Palmas. Valencia will be hosting Girona, with Real Madrid playing the final game in the Spanish La Liga today against Espanyol, another club from Catalonia, over there playing against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. And on Sunday, the fixtures in the Spanish La Liga start from exactly 1 p.m. Getafe will be hosting UD Leganés as Athletic Bilbao will be playing against Celta Vigo. But so bad news for Athletic Bilbao fans out there, as Inaki Williams will be playing by his brother Nico is out of that fixture due to a knock that he sustained in their previous game. Villarreal will be playing home against FC Barcelona. So Barcelona will be hoping to change their wheel to draw back to their momentum in the Spanish La Liga. And also Rayo Vallecano will be wrapping up the Spanish La Liga fixtures with Atletico de Madrid. Monday night football in the Spanish La Liga will be between Real Betis and also Real Mallorca. We'll be doing some Italian Serie A calcio football fixtures as Verona will be playing against Torino exactly 7:45. And also Venezia will be hosting Genoa. Juventus will be playing a cracker match against Napoli. Lecce will be playing against Parma. As on Sunday, the fixtures in the Italian Serie A will be Fiorentina versus SC Lazio, as Monza will be hosting Bologna, with Roma playing against Udinese after Roma sacking a new coach to bring in the Croatian tactician. So there's no more Daniele De Rossi. Their new coach Muric will be starting off against Udinese, hoping to fall back on track with AS Roma. But the Derby della Madonnina in Italy, the peak for them tonight will be against Inter Milan and also AC Milan in this game. Paulo Fonseca, after starting so poorly but getting a 4-0 win over Venezia in their previous fixture, will be hoping to fall back San Siro against champions Inter Milan to even get a win. We're looking at the fixtures also in the French Ligue 1, as Lille will be hosting Strasbourg exactly 6 p.m. today, as RC Lens will be traveling to Rennes to play against Rennes FC, as Reims will be playing the champions of the league once again, PSG, after getting that struggling win against Girona. Their coach Luis Enrique says he's going to bench some key players because next week they'll be having another UCL crucial game against another big side in Europe, so they'll rest players for that game against RC Reims over there. And so on Sunday 22nd of September in the French League AS Monaco will be hoping to continue their winning streak so far in the French League against Le Havre, as Angers will be playing Nantes exactly 4 p.m. on Sunday, with Brest playing against Toulouse on Sunday as well, exactly 4 p.m. So simultaneously, Montpellier will also be hosting Auxerre. In that Auxerre game, we're having some Ghanaians over there, Elisha Owusu, and also Gideon Mensah is still recovering from injury, so he'll be out of that game. But Elisha Owusu will be making a match in that game against Montpellier. And the final fixture in the French League 1 will be between Olympique Lyonnais and also Olympique Marseille. That will be a big game for Roberto De Zerbi to win over there against Olympique Lyonnais. So now arguably the best league in Europe, as a lot of football fans will judge that for me. The English Premier League today, the early kickoff will be between West Ham United and also Chelsea. With that game, Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca states clearly that he trusts in their players, and also Chelsea with the duo of João Felix and also Jadon Sancho, with all the negativity around them, he does not care but always stand for what they will gain for the club and also earn for the club on the pitch. We'll be listening to Enzo Maresca about two players from Chelsea camp, being Jadon Sancho and also João Felix.
No, I don't see problems around Jadon, around Joao. I don't see anything negative, to be honest. For me, Jadon in this case is a very good player, and I knew, because I knew him, that he is a very good player and he can help us. Now all the noise around, I don't care. With us, he's very polite. He's training very, very well on the ball and off the ball. So he's a good player.
So he's very good player, and so far getting an assist in his first game. Jadon Sancho will be hoping to make a mark against West Ham for Chelsea once again today. And also Aston Villa will be hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers, as Fulham will be playing against Newcastle United. But Leicester City, in their previous game, there were a lot of talks about Fatawu Ishaku in that game being on the bench. Will be playing against Everton, the Toffees, with Sundice having some pressure so far. There are some rumors that Sundice might be the next coach to be fired in Europe, following suit as Daniele De Rossi left AC Milan. Liverpool will be hosting Bournemouth at Anfield, but Anfield will be a big game for Bournemouth. But their coach Andoni Raiola says traveling to Anfield with a different mentality is actually going to help them, because Liverpool are going to bounce back from a defeat against Nottingham Forest in the EPL against Bournemouth. So we'll be listening to Bournemouth gaffer Andoni Raiola on that fixture against Liverpool.
Go with the mentality of giving us chances like we did the other day. Do your job, do your 100%. Maybe it's not enough sometimes, because they are a top team. I think with Arsenal and City are the top 3 of the league right now. They've been last years, and it looks like they are going to continue to be this season. And you have to be very, very good. This is mandatory, and sometimes it's not going to be enough. But if you are not very good, then you have no chance for sure.
So that's Bournemouth coach Andoni Raiola on their fixture, and also having the top 3 in the EPL. They are going to play a good game with good mentality over the Southampton after having a rough start with their coach Wes Martin in the EPL. Will be hosting Ipswich Town, and also Tottenham Hotspur will be playing against Brentford. But in that fixture, Ange Postecoglou says clearly that we have to relax and be patient for Dominic Solanke, although the guy is yet to find the back of the net for Tottenham. But we have to relax. We've not played up to 15 games here for us to judge his new striker. So we're listening to Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou defending his new striker Dominic Solanke.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's, people were just so quick to judge, mate. It's a small sample. The guy's played less than 2 games for us. I mean, if he's gone 15 games without a goal, then I can answer that question. Or 15 games and he hasn't really contributed, or he's down. But I just think, take a breath. Do a bit of yoga. Just think about the world for a second, and then make an assessment after that. We don't have to rush to judgment all the time, because the alternative is he may have got off to a great start and was fit and scored in all 4 games and he's flying, and then goes through a patch like all strikers where he doesn't score. And I just don't look at those things. What I look at is he's come in, he's fit in really well, but obviously and quite logically he's picked up an injury that's disrupted the way he probably wanted to start his career. But we've still got plenty of time for that.
Football. Crystal Palace will be hosting Manchester United, and also Brighton and Hove Albion will be playing the first game on Sunday against Nottingham Forest, and the final game in the English Premier League. I think that will be the big game over the weekend for EPL fans. Manchester City will be hosting Arsenal at the Etihad. But with this fixture, Man City defender Ruben Dias talks about facing Arsenal and also the potentialities and how difficult it is to beat Arsenal, but they will stand tall because they are the champions. We'll be listening to Ruben Dias ahead of that fixture against Arsenal.
Well, take the rest we need. We know Arsenal very well, they know us very well, and obviously it's going to be also a very intense game. It's still early stages, but it's never too early to play a clash like this, so we'll be there, we'll be ready.
So it's too early for them, but they'll be running because they know exactly what it means to play against Arsenal. They'll be ready. But also, Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola says once again that Arsenal are still one of the big clubs in Europe and also even in the EPL, right behind them after falling twice behind them while they were winning the EPL. So over the weekend, as playing against each other, Pep Guardiola acknowledged the fact that it is going to be a tough game, but they'll be ready for Arsenal, the Gunners.
Stronger, yeah. Depth squad and add more players and top quality. Yeah, every season is even better and even better. Because if I say something, they will say that I'm playing mind games or something like that. Always I have a highly opinion about him, his team. Everybody knows that he grew up as a team year by year, so there's no doubt about that. And both years have been close, but we have been so strong as well, and still we are strong, and looking forward for the game.
So that's Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola say they know Arsenal are very strong, with them knowing each other very well, but they'll be waiting for that crucial game. Now, Arsenal fans out there, I don't know whether this is good news for you or bad news, but as legends of the club are saying, the academy boys can fill their spots, but their coach Mikel Arteta thinks otherwise. He says Mason Odegaard is going to be a problem since Odegaard is injured over there and will be out for some few weeks. So Odegaard will be featuring for Arsenal against Manchester City over the weekend. We'll be listening to Mikel Arteta on updates around the injury of Mikel Odegaard.
I'm sure there's got some damage, especially in one of the ligaments in the ankle, so we're gonna miss him. Yeah, I want to do that because I'm not a doctor, but yet it's something quite significant, so we're gonna lose him for a while. Our captain is one of our biggest players without a doubt. He's been one of the most consistent players in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and this is who it is, and our identity as well is very related to his way of playing and his way of behaving. We're going to have to deal with that, and that's a great test for the team as well, how capable we are to show maybe a different phase, and the fact that we have other players and other options that can be still very effective.
So Arsenal, the Gunners head coach Mikel Arteta says they have other options. Last week we saw Leandro Trossard playing in that midfield of Partey and Jorginho in that crucial win against in the London derby against Tottenham Hotspur. So hopefully against Manchester City they are going to find a way to complement other players with Martinelli who's bringing the source and also Saka on the left hand side. So Arsenal are ready for that game, but they'll be missing Odegaard in that crucial game. I think that will wrap up the fixtures so far in the major European leagues with me, Jonathan Beans. We'll be continuing the weekend sports rally. And if you are listening to us, you're still listening to your favorite station Z101.9. Lukman Evergreen will be taking over.
Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, for the fixtures for this weekend. Of course, the biggest one will be that match between Manchester City and then Arsenal. It could be a title decider, even though it is early in the season. Well, still talking about some English Premier League football, we have some tidbits for you this morning. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola says any changes regarding football's increase in fixture demands must be led by players. Now, City's Spain midfielder Rodri said on Tuesday that footballers are close to going on strike in protest at the number of games in a calendar year. Well, he's not the only person talking about the number of games that are actually being played by these players. I mean, Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson complained about it, and in midweek, former Arsenal and France striker Thierry Henry also spoke about the fact that there is a lot of games that these players are playing, and it is actually robbing football fans of the quality of the game.
And we talk about all the time the physical aspect of the game. And I remember people were talking about having the World Cup every 2 years. We all know why. And I will let Jamie talk about it because I know it's close to what I know what you want to say about. But I just want to say something. You want to play the World Cup every 2 years, or you want to whatever they were doing. People don't think about the mental aspect of the game and what it's asking you, what those games are asking you mentally. Physically, your body will adapt, but mentally it's difficult to recover, especially when you're the guy of that team that everyone always expects for you to deliver. It's not easy. They play too many games for me.
Well, that was Thierry Henry complaining about the fixture congestion in Europe at the moment. Remember, these players are playing across every competition. They are playing the Premier League, they are playing the FA Cup, they are playing even in Nations League, as we saw before the return of the Premier League during the international break, where clubs players were playing in these matches. In fact, that is how come Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard picked up an injury. Well, while the players are contemplating going on strike, another player has also voiced out his concerns about the number of games that are currently being played, and it is Arsenal and former Chelsea midfielder Jorginho. He had this to say about the fixture congestion.
At the end of the day, we work so hard to be here at this level, and we dreamed to be here. So if it's the situation is this, we need to play these games. We always try to do our best to deliver. Of course, it might be a little bit more difficult for us, but it is what it is, and we need to do everything that we can to be ready for every single game.
Well, that was Jorginho speaking about the fact that the players have to be ready for these matches. Meanwhile, Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford is returning to his best form after taking control of his career, says manager Erik ten Hag. Now, the 26-year-old has scored in back-to-back games for the Red Devils, including scoring twice in the EFL Cup in midweek. Liverpool manager Arne Slot says goalkeeper Alisson Becker is a doubt to face Bournemouth in Saturday's Premier League game because of a muscle issue. Meanwhile, in Germany, Bayern Munich striker Harry Kane could become the top-scoring English player in Bundesliga history this weekend, just weeks into his second season in Germany. Now, the 31-year-old has scored 40 Bundesliga goals in 35 games, level with the record of Jadon Sancho, who took 118 matches to reach the level that he got to across his spells with Borussia Dortmund. Well, still in England, Ange Postecoglou says Tottenham considered signing Ivan Toney before Dominic Solanke, and fans should not rush to judgment on the £65 million striker. Solanke is yet to score for Tottenham in the Premier League, despite making 3 appearances for the club. Meanwhile, England striker Ivan Toney has scored his first 2 goals for Al Ahly as they defeated Denmark in the Saudi Pro League yesterday. Still in the Saudi Pro League, Cristiano Ronaldo was also on the score sheet for Al Nassr as they defeated Steven Gerrard's Al Ittifaq. All right, top on our agenda this morning is the Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations, which will be coming on next month. Ghana qualified for the competition for the first time since 2016. In fact, we were in the competition in 2015 and 2016, but then after 2016, we failed to qualify, but then we are back, and the draw for the competition was made on Thursday, with Ghana grouped in Group A, where they will be facing host Egypt, Morocco, and then Tanzania. Well, we have the president of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association on the line, Yao Ampofo-Ankra, and we'll be talking to him about how things are currently.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Good morning. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Good morning, Yao. Hello? Hello? All right, we are trying to reach the president of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association, Mr. Yao Ampofo-Ankra. We'll be talking about him, about the draw where Ghana will be facing Egypt, Morocco, and Tanzania in Group A. Meanwhile, in Group B of that competition, champion Senegal will be facing Mauritania, Malawi, and Mozambique in the competition, which begins on October 19th in Egypt. Yeah, hello, good morning, Yao.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Well, it's a lovely Saturday morning, and the best way to start the day is actually talk some beach soccer. Well, Ghana has qualified for the competition, which will be beginning next month in Egypt. I mean, how is the team preparing towards the competition?
Thank you so much, Lukman. Well, thank you. I mean, we've qualified, yes. That was in itself a big achievement because we've been away from competitive beach soccer for some years now, due to various reasons. But yes, getting back in Africa is great. It gives us an opportunity to put our plan back on track. Preparations are ongoing. The players are being monitored. It's non-residential, and they're being monitored week in, week out when we have beach soccer league matches like today at the La Boma Beach. Sunday will be in Adan. Last weekend was in Peta. So we move about, and the players who've been shortlisted are being monitored. And hopefully by next week, the residential campaign will start. We had hoped to start this week, but we need a couple of clearances from the Ghana Football Association in order to do that. But I would say that we're on course.
Oh, okay. That's good. I mean, like you said, it's great to see the team qualify for the competition. I mean, this is the first time since 2016 that Ghana is making a return to the Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, the draw was done in midweek. Ghana has been drawn in Group A alongside Egypt, Morocco, and then Tanzania. I mean, for someone who has been following the sports and being the head of the sport here in Ghana, I mean, you look at your opponents, how well or how challenging would this be for a team like Ghana, knowing very, very well that we are making a return to the competition for the first time in a very long time?
Well, look, man, I mean, it couldn't have been better or worse. The thing is, the honest truth is that regardless of which team we play, it will be tough. And it's better for us to know that we're going to play against the very best. And fortunately, I say fortunately because I'm actually happy with the draw. The simple reason being that the best on the continent, we're playing against the very best in Africa. The East African champions are Tanzania. They've swept clean their region. They're rising force in beach soccer, and they're very solid. I watched them at the Afro Beach Games where they got to the semis. That was won by Morocco. They beat Senegal. You know, so we're talking about the best teams. Senegal, we don't need to talk about them. Perennial winners. I mean, habitual World Cup qualifiers. They've even managed to beat Brazil.
Yes.
Reach the quarterfinal. They don't need, you know, we don't need to tell you about how good Senegal is. They are the very best. Then you talk about the host nation, Egypt. You know, the Egyptians, when it comes to sport, they don't like losing, especially at home. Whether it's football, athletics, or in this case, beach soccer, they will be one of the favorites. They would want to qualify out of the group and give themselves a chance of qualifying to the World Cup. They were at the World Cup the last time at Ghana's expense. So we are really up against it. Positively, we can say that we have to go all out. Every match is a final. Every match is a final match, and we need to play our very best in order to get something. And that's the attitude and approach we will take into the AFCON.
All right. I mean, Yao, Ghana has never made it beyond the group stage of the competition. And for us going into the competition for the third time in our history, I mean, what are the objectives of this particular team? Knowing very, very well that it won't be easy, like you said. I mean, coming up against the best of the best on the continent.
Absolutely. We've had conversations. Immediately we qualified in Abidjan. The conversation was that, okay, regardless of the team that we face, we have to try and qualify for the World Cup. And that hasn't changed. I mean, we might as well try to qualify for the World Cup. I don't see any reason why that should not be an objective and a target. And we've been pumping that into their heads. If we qualify, great. The biggest achievement for any team probably this year as far as sport is concerned. We have no business qualifying against Ivory Coast, beating them home and away. So we don't want to say, well, we've not been there for so many years. It's a relatively new team. We're in a group of death, you know, host nation, Afro Beach champions. You know, we're going to go for it. It's better to go for it and, you know, miss the target than not to even aim at the highest.
Well, that's good to hear from you. I mean, you said residential campaign will be beginning this week. I want to find out how long would the team be preparing? Yeah, I was asking, you said residential campaign will begin this week. next week actually. And then I wanted to find out how long would it be, and when will Ghana, the team itself, be leaving the country?
Yeah, so the final details of that will be made public in the coming days when we've concluded our meetings with the Ghana Football Association. As you know, post COVID-19, post normalization period, the Dr. Amwa headed normalization committee, that is when the transition was made to affiliation with the GFA. So all of these things have to be put in place, and we need to have conclusion with the FA in order to have those final dates and arrangements made.
Okay. I mean, before I let you go, I mean, for being the head of the association, once again, how far do you think this team can go, and what should Ghanaians expect from you? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I was
Can you
asking.
repeat that?
Yeah, so I was asking that. I mean, how far do you think this team can go, and what should Ghanaians be expecting at the Africa Cup of Nations?
Well, match after match, every match as we approached Ivory Coast, we saw a tenacity, a determination, and a ruggedness about them in Abidjan. And if we can repeat that and add a few percentage, levels, and up the game a few more levels, then we have a very good chance. These boys did so well against the Ivorians, and we need the same kind of tenacity to go as far as we pray to go, and that's to get to the final and to win the AFCON. Why not?
All right. I mean, thank you very, very much, Yao Ampo for Ankara. It's been nice talking to you. I wish you and the team all the best, and we'll definitely be following the competition from here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was the president of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association talking about how the team is preparing ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations next month. Remember, Ghana has been drawn in Group A alongside the host Egypt, and then Morocco as well as Tanzania. For their first game will be against Egypt. They will play their second game against Morocco, and the final game of the group against Tanzania. Well, away from beach soccer, we do some English Premier League football. Already the first game of the week has started with West Ham United trailing Chelsea by 2-0 already. And so West Ham are really struggling at the start of the new season under new coach Julian Lopetegui. I have the guys with me in the studio to do some EPL talks as well as some UEFA Champions League analysis. I have Lawrence Dansu. He prefers to be called Larry. He is on the show for the first time. There is also Jonathan here. I mean, our own guy, Jonathan Binsua. Well, Larry, good morning and welcome to Z Sports.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Well, I mean, like we've seen already, the first game is currently ongoing. Chelsea are leading by 2-0. But then the biggest game for the weekend is that game between Manchester City and then Arsenal. Before I even delve into Manchester City and then Arsenal, the games coming up this weekend would also see Aston Villa playing Wolverhampton Wanderers. Fulham will be taking on Newcastle United. Leicester City will be facing Everton. Hopefully, the Ghanaian boys will be making us proud in that match. Liverpool will be taking on AFC Bournemouth. Southampton will face Ipswich Town. Tottenham Hotspur will be playing Brentford with Manchester United. playing in the final or late kickoff game against Crystal Palace. We'll start with Liverpool and then Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth have had a very good, a mixed start to the season until that game against Chelsea, which they lost in the final minute. They've had a very good start to the season. You look at Liverpool, they were given a real test against Nottingham Forest. I mean, losing at home for the first time in 55 years. Do you think Liverpool can bounce back after that defeat, especially playing against Bournemouth, a team that they struggled against last season?
Well, they need to bounce back. And if you've been listening to Arne Slot after that loss, he looks like a manager that wants to get a revenge. He wants to bring his boys back up and playing very good soccer. I think after that loss, during the Champions League press conference, and even the press conference, looking forward to this game, he's just been talking about Nottingham Forest. And it looks like that loss took a little bit pain on that manager. So he wants to go all out today. And a good way to go all out is to come back at Anfield, where they lost, and go back and get a win, get the 3 points on the board. I think what Liverpool needs to do is to put in the goals early. I think so far in Arne Slot's start to the season, Liverpool have struggled in the first half of almost every game I've seen them play. Even over the weekend, they conceded to AC Milan first, and they had to bounce back. So I think mostly in the first half they do struggle. Their first game, their second game, but in the second half they do find their mojo, and it looks like they come back and they kick it up from there. I think this time they need to put their foot to the ground and get the goals. If Liverpool does get a goal early in the game, I seen them going all the way and then putting Brentford to an easy win.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, sorry. But if they don't, Bournemouth would start to pick up pace, and with Semenyo in the form he is, and Tavernier and all the guys, they are going to give Liverpool some trouble. But I hope my boys come up and they do win.
You're a Liverpool fan?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
If I'd known you were a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't have asked you that question. Well, I mean, Jonathan, another game that will be of interest to us is that game between Crystal Palace and then Manchester United. United have had a wobbly start to the season, won their first game, lost back-to-back, and then they are back. Defeated Southampton by 3-0, won against Barnsley in the EFL Cup by 7-0. They come up against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have had a tough start to the campaign. Looking at the way they ended last season and the way they've started this season, there is a wide difference. But then, I mean, United have also struggled against Manchester United. How difficult would this game be for the Red Devils?
I think playing against Crystal Palace, if you are a coach of Ten Hag, and you are not able to strike a victory for Manchester United, he deserves to be sacked. Because we are talking about Crystal Palace, the last time they played against Manchester United home, they were able to thump United by 4-0. 4-0. Who was in charge of that Manchester United team? Ten Hag. And change of hands in, you have Oliver Glasner having, some new shape with the guys of Mateta, with Eze picking up the pieces for Crystal Palace. They were able to keep Mark Guehi. This is a team that they are very formidable side. But we are talking about a United that we can't sit and also celebrate mediocrity. That United fans are happy that over the weekend they were able to thump a certain Barnsley by 7 goals. They have to carry that same momentum into the EPL game against Crystal Palace.
You cut them a slack for that. They've beaten a team in the EFL Cup. Remember, at the end of the day, EFL Cup also counts as a trophy. So why would you be, why shouldn't they celebrate that one?
You celebrate that one and you check the goals that they got in that game. Anthony was in there performing fantastically well. So in a Premier League game where we need Anthony, over 100 million player in the English Premier League, where it matters most for Manchester United fans, because their coach, I think it is time they have to sit down and analyze the fact that Ten Hag has been with this club for the past 3 years and Manchester United fans can't even state their style of play clearly. So playing against Crystal Palace is a perfect match for them to redeem something, to redeem their image at least. We are talking about a club that we've seen big clubs in Europe sacking their coaches, with Ten Hag still at the mainstay as Manchester United head coach. You check the head-to-head of Crystal Palace. Going away to play against Crystal Palace is a game that they have to put on the line that if Ten Hag doesn't give us good points, a draw will at least save his neck. By a lose against Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner and his club I think Ten Hag needs to be sacked, because we are talking about other clubs in Europe sacking their coaches because they wanted to see a turnaround. But United have been lenient towards Ten Hag too long. Having his fanboys, we've seen Anthony. Last week, he went to defend Anthony that a player is going to fight back his way into the starting 11. And Anthony is doing just that. You've given him the opportunity to play very well, also in the EFL Cup, getting, a crucial win for Manchester United. I don't see anything stopping United from carrying that same momentum, from carrying, that vigor, that same chemistry that they go against Barnsley going into the EPL game. They don't have to be switched off when you talk about EPL. Turn on when you are talking about EFL, though. They have to prove a point against Crystal Palace. You put the midfield of Crystal Palace in control, Wathen, and you talk about a player like Casemiro, who comes in once to prove a point that he's that Casemiro with that, one of the best DMs we've seen so far in world football, with that illustrious career with his wife defending here and there. And the next day, the same Casemiro will be at fault to cost Manchester United their defeat. So if you are Ten Hag going into a such game, I'll prefer Manuel Ugarte, because we've seen the guy play a debut game for Manchester United. So in a crucial game for them like that against Crystal Palace, because the last time they played against them, they opened up too much. They conceded 4 goals. So against Crystal Palace, it's a big game to me for Manchester United as a club, because if the result don't go in favor of Manchester United, I think Ten Hag will have to leave the club for them.
Well, it might be too early for some United fans, but then it will also be too late for some fans, especially those calling for Ten Hag out at the moment. Well, still with the English Premier League, there will be the big one that will be coming up tomorrow. But then, yes, like I said earlier, Chelsea are leading by 2-0. It looks like Nicholas Jackson is actually proving Mikel Obi wrong for his comments, or maybe he's just being motivated by the fact that Mikel Obi, a former player of the club, keeps on criticizing him. Well, the big one, of course, is that one between Arsenal and then Manchester City. Larry, this is, of course, a very big one. For these are the two teams that have really done well in the course of the last 2 seasons. Yeah. Manchester City has won it back-to-back. They've really, at one point, Arsenal looked to be the team that could have won it, but then for 1 or 2 reasons they couldn't. How important is this game with regards to the title itself? It's just the 5th game of the season. There will be 33 more matches to be played. But then how important is this game?
Well, that is Pep Guardiola doing his mind game, saying it's just 33 more games to come. We know who Pep is. We know Pep is a perfectionist, and he doesn't look to lose so many games. So this is actually a big game. To me, in the Premier League for the past two seasons, this is actually the biggest game of the season now, because these are the 2 big shots going head-to-head against each other. But I also believe this is the best time for Mikel Arteta to get one over Pep Guardiola. I think it's been long coming. They've been playing Pep for quite a while, but he always seems to fumble at the point. However, unfortunately for Arteta, he's losing some key players. Odegaard is out, definitely. And if you look at how they played over the weekend, during the week against Atalanta, there were questionable calls in that midfield pairing of Partey and Jorginho. I don't know what Arteta would like to do this time, but I think he needs to go all out and win this one. For Manchester City, the noise about their breach talks and court proceedings starting seems to have zeroed in. I think that is what Pep likes. No talk about him. He really prepares for this game, and Erling Haaland will be looking to charge at Arteta's boys, because I think in the last 2 games, Haaland has not been able to put a goal behind, into the net against Mikel Arteta's team, and he'll be looking to do that. He scored averaging 2 goals per game this season, so he's on 9 goals, and the other players are 3. Yeah. So far, and it's just how many games into the season. So he's on top form. He's on record to have said that this is his best preparation in terms of preseason towards the league. So it's a good one. Preferably, I want Arsenal to win this one. I think it's high time. I would like for them to have one over Pep's team. But knowing Pep, I think they'll get a draw.
Well, I mean, like you said, City are obviously the most informed team in the Premier League. Won all 4 games. They have a striker in Erling Haaland who scored 9 goals so far this season. I mean, from a tactical point of view, where do you think this game will be won and where would it be lost?
I think this game will be won tactically for Arsenal from the wings. Right. I think they will need to target Lewis, the young chap in City's defense.
Rico Lewis.
Because he looks the more inexperienced one. Because you can't go for the Kyle Walkers and the others. So that is why I think Bukayo Saka would have a great game, because it is on his side that he'll be coming against Rico Lewis quite a lot. If he could get one, if Arsenal could create the opportunity for a 1v1 Saka against Rico Lewis, I think Saka would get one over him and would have the opportunity to put the ball behind the net. For Manchester City, I think where they would have to win this one, actually, I think the midfield battle is going to be for City. Looking at Arsenal's midfield, I think it's going to be for City. The only way I see Arsenal stopping Manchester City is stopping Kevin De Bruyne from playing. Because if De Bruyne plays, Haaland will get his chances. And Haaland doesn't need more than 3 good chances. 1-2, he puts the ball behind the net. So Arsenal needs to find a way of stopping De Bruyne from playing and getting Saka to be 1v1 against Rico Lewis, and I think they'll have a chance.
Well, I mean, Jonathan, like we said, Arsenal have been the closest to Manchester City in the league for the past 2 years. Do you think a win in this particular game for them will play a crucial role in determining how far they can go this season, or do you think it will be a straightforward game for Manchester City?
I think it's a big game for both clubs, and looking at Arteta and also facing, once his balls, Pep Guardiola, everything is clear that Arsenal at this point looks more depleted than Manchester City, if you are talking about the quality of the players at the coach's disposal going into the game, because you are going to get a certain Manchester City who have all their players available. Even with Rico Lewis this season, Lewis plays more inverted with the midfielders. This season, Lewis enjoys going up front, that clicking with Savino on the right wing. So Mikel Arteta can decide to leave this for you. And if you check Arsenal, their defensive line of Gabriel Magalhaes and also this guy, the French guy, William Saliba. This season, they were able to set, so far after 4 games, if you check from, Tuttosport, one of the analysis, you'll see that setting the defensive line to catch an offside, to catch your opposition player on an offside 7 times against EPL clubs. And we are talking about a striker in the person of Erling Braut Haaland, who hardly be in that line, who will hardly be, ahead of the defenders. Yeah. It is he that is going to wait for the ball and tussle with the defender before he moves. This season, only 4 offsides from Erling Haaland, netting 9 goals so far. So it tells you that Haaland is a well-calculated striker, that you can't just set up a defensive line and think that he'll be caught on guard with maybe offsides. So talking about Arsenal, we shouldn't forget that it is either they are going to repeat Jurriën Timber at the left-hand side against Manchester City. And you check the players at the disposal of Pep Guardiola. Doku can play that place. Without Doku, Savino also feels comfortable on that side. Jack Grealish also in the pecking order. So you can hold the game from the first half to the second half. But you check the number of goals Manchester City have scored against Arsenal from the 70th minute mark to 90th. So far, under Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola, they've scored 6 goals against them. Beyond that numbers, the last 2 times they met, Manchester City were able to beat them 4-1. Before Arsenal were able to get a 1-0 win over Man City, and their last game was a draw. So you check all of these things, then you ask yourself, who is going to be that midfielder? Who is going to top even Manchester City from playing that play that they play in their midfield? Is it Partey? Are you going to have a certain decline rise in the game for Arsenal? So this is a whole game of, aside the tactics of the coaches, the players on the pitch, how are they going to rise, to the occasion? Because there are rumors in, Manchester as we speak, that it is either Pep Guardiola even play Kyle Walker, who is fully fit. We are playing English Premier League. We've not seen the, inputs of Rodri so far in this Manchester City. We've not even seen the inputs of, Kyle Walker in this Manchester City. But they are off and running. They are winning already. But we are talking about Arsenal with their A game and everything. During match day 3, they were able to be stopped by Brighton and Hove Albion. So going into a big game like that, I don't see Arsenal, getting a point against Manchester City, even at their own backyard Etihad. I think it is going to be a straight win for Manchester City because this is a team that looks more defined, a team that looks more refined and ready to stamp their authority on the EPL, and they are doing it very well. From a goal down against Brentford coming up, it tells you the mentality. But Arsenal, from a goal down, all they were able to salvage was a point. So going on against Manchester City, and you check the striking option for Manchester City with Erling Haaland, and you go back and check your opponent in the person of Arsenal with Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus on the bench with Kai Havertz, with Martinelli missing clear-cut chances, 17 so far in the EPL. You can't compare him to any of the forwards of Manchester City at the moment. He's off. Martinelli is definitely off for Arsenal. So in a crucial game like this, I think Pep Guardiola will just find a way to beat Arsenal once again to win.
All right, that was Jonathan, who has absolute confidence in Manchester City in beating Arsenal in the English Premier League. Well, with regards, we'll be back to talk more about the Premier League, but then there is something interesting happening today. You'd have to make your way to the Ebre Hills. Now, Jazz on the Hill is happening today at Tranquilos at 6 p.m., one of the most ideal spaces for classy events on the Ebre Hills. The headline band is Patrick and the Meloham. Now also featuring is the sensational Alina, one of Ghana's most exciting female solo saxophonists. Now there will be an art exhibition by the famous House of Safori. Now first 50 patrons to arrive get served with free cocktail drinks. It is also located off the Brekusi junction on the Accra-Ebre main road before Ashesi University. Now for RSVP, contact 0248 8221 702 0248 821702 or 0244 769874 0244 769874. See you there. Of course, you don't just have to be in your homes on a chilly Saturday evening. Make sure you make your way to the Ebre Hills to see some very good performances from the sensational Alina, the Patrick and the Meloham on the Ebre Hills. Well, do you want the respect, acknowledgement, and opportunities that comes with being ranked among Ghana's top businesses? Well, if so, we have some exciting news for you. The prestigious Ghana Club 100 Awards is back for the 21st edition and is currently open for entries. Now, coming on the 11th of October 2024, 100 outstanding companies in multiple sectors will be ranked based on their growth, profitability, and impact. Now, to be eligible for these coveted awards, an entrant must be a limited liability firm. Alternatively, companies with government interests should have less than 50% government ownership unless the company is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, businesses who wish to be considered for the award should fill an application form online or read details on how to physically submit their applications on GIPC's official website. Now, the deadline for the submission is actually today, September 20th, 2024. So you have some few hours to do that if you really want to be acknowledged and respected in the business sector. Now, so mark your calendars and get ready to celebrate Corporate Ghana in grand style. Now, for further information on the event sponsorship and advertising, kindly contact Charles Opoku Mensah or Efua Techi Mills on 0302 961 745, 0302 961 745, or 0244 318252, or 0244 31 8252 or send an email to info@gipcghana.com. So you can send an email to info@gipcghana.com. Well, within the week, there was some interesting news from Tarkwa. There was this banter between the Tarkwa Municipal Assembly and the National Sports Authority over who actually oversees the TNA Park in Tarkwa. Remember, the TNA Park was unveiled just last month, and it is home to Ghana Premier League side Mediama SC. It was built by Goldfields, but then it was handed to the National Sports Authority to take care of the facility. However, there's been issues with regards to how the facility is being maintained, especially in a period where the Accra Sports Stadium and the Kumasi Barbera Sports Stadium have come under intense scrutiny. Well, a committee was formed by the Tarkwa Nsuayemu Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Benjamin Kessie. The committee is made up of 5 people who have been tasked with the job of overseeing the maintenance of the TNA Park. All right, we'll be talking to a member of the committee that was set by the Tarkwa MCE. Ebenezer Edu will be talking to us on the committee and what their role is. Good morning, Mr. Ebenezer.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you, and thanks for having me.
All right, and how is Tarkwa?
Tarkwa is great.
Well, I mean, we've all heard about the issue that is currently on the table in Tarkwa. I mean, it's with regards to the TNA Park. A committee has been set, which you are part of the committee. I just want to find out what necessitated the formation of this particular committee.
I think that I overheard you talking about the records of the National Sports Authority. As we speak now, me and you know that where Ghana Black Stars will play it, category A or B or C matches for the qualifiers, as a country we don't even have. Exactly. It tells you the records of the authority, because over the years, successive governments have been doing a lot of investment in sports facilities. But at the end of the day, what do we see? Our stadiums are not properly kept. Some of the stadiums are at the very stages that you cannot even play football games there. Most especially the one that is even close to us, that is the Sipon Sports Stadium. It is in a very bad state. And these are stadia that were built by the Ghana government with the money from the people. So for us in Tarkwa, the stadium was built by Goldfields. Goldfields is a private company, and as part of its corporate social responsibility, because they mine in the enclave of Tarkwa, they built a stadium for the people of Tarkwa. So once they build a stadium for the people of Tarkwa, and it's a community stadium, and we've seen signs of the same bad management that has led us not having a pitch now to play on, then the best thing is that the municipal assembly take it over and take care of it. Come up with all the best practices that we can have and find a proper management agency to take care of the stadium to make it a world-class facility as it is. As I'm talking to you now, when you go to some of the washrooms, you agree with us that we should have taken the stadium right from the day that the stadium Goldfields handed it over. Again, as a committee, when the municipal chief executive did the inauguration for us to take over, when we went to the stadium, we realized that there are only two staffs that are at the Tarkwa TNA Park. So we had a conversation with them, and we asked them that, why is it that it is only two people who are here? What they told us is that some of their staffs are in Takoradi, and the original boss is in Takoradi. So what they do is that the two are kept at the stadium to look at the day-to-day activities, and that when it is match day, then they will bring some reinforcement from Takoradi, and then they will take some community people to be doing the cleaning. You cannot manage a 16 million facility like that. The only challenge, or at the TNA Park, the major challenge is water. The contractor tells us when they were building the stadium, they were drilling boreholes to make sure that they use it as a source of water, because there's a bit of water challenge at Tarkwa. Whatever they did, they couldn't get to the water table. So the little they managed to have, that is what they used to direct that one to feed the pitch. Because, the food for the pitch is fertilizer and water, right? That is the grass. So the water we have in Tarkwa now is used for that. And then they directed the sanitary condition, the washrooms and everything to Ghana Water. Now we are not having Ghana Water. So what Medeama Sporting Club has been doing is that anytime they are playing the football game, they need to provide water to take care of all those sanitary conditions. And if NSA says that they take care of the pitch, should Medeama be buying the water? It's the NSA that has to buy the water, so that after everything shows clearly that the way they are managing the Accra Sports Stadium, the Kumasi, the Cape Coast, and that is the same practice they are bringing here. And it's best that we take care of our stadium so that it doesn't get to the stage that the rest are in.
Well, that's quite interesting. In fact, I was actually coming to the questions about the state of the facility at this moment, but then it looks like you've already told us how it looks. But then apart from the water problem, is there any other problem with regards to the safeguarding of the TNA Park that we should know?
Yes, the cleaning is a challenge. Okay. And as I said, NSA is understaffed, because every proper management agency that will take care of the TNA Park should not have less than 20 people as permanent staff. You understand?
Yeah.
That is from the various sectors. And if you are bringing in any other contractors, let's say part-time cleaners and all those things, you do it. Because you need to have an estate office. You need to have plumbers, you need to have electricians, you need to have all those people. When we took over, and then we were asking that they should put a sprinkler on for us to see. The green grass people told us that the sprinkler is not working. Wow. Why is it not working? Because there is this electrical connection that pushes the water to the polytank. And then through that, it can sprinkle the water when they open the valve. Because power has passed through that, and the whole gadget was spilled, it needed a complete replacement. Okay. We asked them for how many days. They said 1 week. And then have you reported to the NSA? They say yes. There are two guys are here. We reported. We asked them and said, they reported to the original boss, and then they are bringing an expert, an electrician from Takoradi to come to Tarkwa to have a look at it before they can change it. We have changed it just yesterday.
Wow.
It took us only a day to change it. So all these things tells us, because the pitch needs constant watering, true or false?
That's very true.
And he starved the pitch for good 1 week with no water. So if we didn't change it, it means that throughout this week, God knows until when they wanted to change it. Before the pitch can get the water, you are starving the grass, and then you are not making the quality that we want. And then eventually the grass or the pitch will be like Kumasi or will be like Accra. So for us, we are not in any tug of war or any banter with the National Sports Authority. We've been given a mandate to come out with a blueprint to make sure that the best practices are laid. And I am an extensive traveler. I used to be a sports journalist just like you. I was in the media for 10 years before I switched into football management. And since 2006, after the Germany World Cup, what we were advocating was that the state of our various stadia was not in good shape, and that there is a need for government to partner other people to make sure that we have management agencies. For example, just recently I went to Tanzania. Go and see the stadium that they built there, and go and see that if there is a management agency or not. If you go to Soccer City, that formerly it was called FMD, it is the same thing. There is a management agency there. If you go to Cairo International, if you go to Wembley, so those are the best practices. Experts who knows how to maintain facilities. And we are here, we build 30 million facility, 40 million facility. We give it to people in trust, and then there's money generated. But you ask yourself, where does those money go? Between me and you, when they go first handed the stadium over to us, to the NSA. There have been how many competitions as the TNA?
A lot.
The GACA Top 4, right?
Yeah.
There was the Champion of Champions, right?
Exactly.
There was the Pinto Cup, right?
Yeah.
From that, has it kind of the switches they are not able to bring until they go to Takrady before they can bring. Monies and revenues generated in Takwa, that is the TNA Park, should be able to take care of the facility to be at the level that goes handed over to the people of Takwa. So we think that when Assembly takes over and there's a management agency, all monies generated in Takwa, the TNA Park, through football activities, through concerts, through whatever activity that we have at the Takwa TNA Park, with all the best practices, we will have money to maintain the stadium and maintain it well.
Right,
stadiums are not used for only, let's say, football games.
Yeah.
When you go to other places, they even do funerals, concerts, and all those things there. But they are best practices. What do? They are panels, pitch protective panels that they use to consolidate, fill all the areas so that it doesn't affect the grass. But what do we see in Ghana? They'll give stadia to churches for crusade. They will go and mount speakers. They will go and put chairs on the grass. The same pitch. That should be protected. That we spend so much money to do. Then, after a day or two, we'll just come and put water and sprinkle it, and we say that, oh, it is in good standard. I think that that is the reason why the Municipal Assembly has come up with this idea that we want to maintain the stadium.
All right. I mean, Mr. Eben, like you said, now you've identified all the problems with regards to the TNA Park. You have your own ways that you would want to maintain the pitch. I mean, in your position in that group, what should the fans in Takwa be expecting with regards to the maintenance of the pitch? Would there be any form of a collaboration between the committee and then the NSA, or the NSA is completely out of this?
For now, NSA is completely out because the assembly want to maintain everything.
Okay.
So it is not a collaborating effort or anything, because the NSA, with their own records, have shown that they cannot maintain any stadium. They understand.
Okay.
So that is what we will do.
Okay. All right. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate your time on this because we need our stadiums for, international matches. And we are glad to hear your side of the story this morning. Thank you very much, and then have a very good day.
Thank you, too.
Okay. Well, so it's been a long 2 weeks with regards to the maintenance of pitches, the pitches that will be available for Ghana Premier League games, and even the Black Stars. As we speak now, the Black Stars are still in a hunt for a place to play their next Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, which is against Sudan. Reports or from the information that we've gathered, even Togo, who look to be the closest to us and have a national stadium that we could play our match on, are refusing to share their stadium with us. And so we might end up going to either Ivory Coast, or worst case scenario, we might move somewhere to North Africa, which could have a huge impact on our team, because we all saw that game between Ghana and Niger in the Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, I'll bring my guys in with regards to this stadium issue. It's painful listening to what is going on with regards to our stadium at the moment. We don't have a national stadium. The Ghana Premier League is currently ongoing. Accra House of Folk, Accra Lions, and then Dreams FC were using the Accra Sports Stadium as their home venue for their league games. As we speak now, that stadium has been closed down. The Baba Yara Sports Stadium has been closed down. So Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be playing their matches at the Obuasi Linkley Sports Stadium. And then there is also the case of the Cape Coast Stadium, which has also been closed down. I mean, Larry, for someone who follows our league very, very much, how much of an impact will this do, or would this have on this Ghana Premier League teams? I mean, switching from one venue to the other, it will definitely affect the quality of play. It will definitely affect spectatorship. What impact is this going to have on our league?
It's going to be a very big impact. This whole stadium, it's disgraceful. It's shameful. You don't even know where to start from. This is a country that hosted the African Cup of Nations in 2008. If I could remember, we had about 4 edifices at that time. Accra, Kumasi, Esipon, and then Tamale. Later we built the Cape Coast Stadium. The NSA wants to tell me that they could not manage not even one out of these 5 stadiums. Not even one. To keep it in a state where we could play our own home games. We've turned our football into a joke, literally. And at the end of the day, the Ghana Premier League is struggling. They've been struggling for some years now. Integrity issues, fans going to watch the game, fans losing interest in the whole league. And then on top of this, you are bringing up these issues for the clubs. I mean, clubs like Kumasi Asante Kotoko now has to go to Obuasi to play at Linkley. And I mean, busing spectators from Kumasi to Obuasi for match days is huge on the club. Definitely the club is going to bear some cost. They would definitely like to send some of their funds there, right? Accra and the pressure they are come to put on the Legon Stadium. I just hope the UG authorities tell them, hey. To be honest, but we need to also save the game. Because at the end of the day, we need to find somewhere to play. But it's a whole lot of pressure on the Lagos Stadium. And have you even seen that pitch?
I have.
It's bad. It's not as if the Lagos Stadium's pitch is way better. It's so bad. And then at the end of the day, clubs now have to go and put a lot of pressure on it. Logistics-wise, movement, busing, and all of that, it will take a toll on the clubs. And they're already struggling. They don't have money. The football is not generating a lot of money for these clubs.
The Ghana Premier League has no sponsor.
No sponsor. Well, I mean, that one the GFA says we're going to do a TV right. We've not heard anything. The league has started. Match day, what 3 going into. I mean, it's a whole joke what our football has turned into. And the NSA boss got a sack. But we all know where the issue is coming from. It's not just on the NSA.
So where's the issue coming from?
Why is the minister post?
That is a big question.
I mean, because ever since Mustafa took over, I mean, I don't know anybody at the MUH, I don't know anybody at the NSC, no issues. But it's been issues upon issues upon issues upon issues upon issues. And it's bad. And if you look at everything, at the end of the day, it looks like people are getting tired of talking. And that's the state we'll get into. We'll get to a place where people get tired and they will stop and will look at you. It's just like how the Ghana Football League has lost its integrity. we kept talking about how the game seemed to have been, people are calling shots elsewhere. Now people have lost interest in the game. We said bringing back the love for football. And then we are having national team issues. And Togo says they can't take it.
Yeah.
For scheduling issues, they can't take it. They have only one stadium approved, and they'll be playing 2 days after our game. They won't agree for us to play them because they need their pitch in good standard. Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Ghana doesn't like playing Nigeria. I mean, the banter that we will get if we go there is.
In fact, I'm sure Nigerians will go there just to support our opponents.
They actually calling us to come and play there. I mean, if you hear from them, they are like, oh, they can give us one of their stadia. But we all know what it means.
Yeah.
Because it will be a whole. I won't be surprised. I will have a lot of fans trooping to watch that game. But whether the Black Stars will not feel the pressure at Nigeria, it's a different dynamics as well. Going all the way to the North Africa, it's a whole joke. And truly, it's sad that we've got to this point. But I just hope in some few years somebody sets up at the NSA.
Well, I mean, I'll still stay with you on this issue. I mean, we all know the problems now. We know that so and so are responsible for keeping the stadium at its best shape. What do you think is the way forward? Because, like you mentioned, we keep on talking and then the same things happen. How do you host a church event 17 days prior to a national team football game at the stadium that we see it happen over and over? In fact, I know very, very well that in December, the Accra Sports Stadium will be closed. Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium will be closed just for concerts. And so, if we know these are some of the problems, like Ebenezer mentioned earlier, you can use the stadium for all these things, but then it also comes with a cost of maintenance. Are you ready to host it and then finance the maintenance of this stadia? That is a huge question. So if we all know these problems, what do we do to stop this from happening?
First off, I think we all need to be accountable. Accountability needs to be a big thing. That is something it looks like our society is lacking. I do remember when Professor Chumesi went to the Public Committee at Parliament, Sam George asked the question about the carpets, and he said the NSA actually has carpet for shows. Then we asked, okay, show us proof that you actually laid carpets during these concerts, and there was no proof. And actually, it goes to tell that there's actually no carpet. I don't believe they even have it. I don't believe they do have it. And you give this stadia over, the concerts that happen there, bikers are, moving their bikes on the bare grass, destroying the grass at the end of the day. And you give off the national stadia days before the show. I mean, I was listening to one other show somewhere, and someone asked the question, you've done this to the Accra Sports Stadium. Why do the same to Baba Yara? Few days to a national, assignment, a national game. You give the stadium off to an event. You've done the same with Accra Sports Stadium. Look at the state. You do the same with Baba Yara. You get the money and you don't even maintain the pitches. And so you ask yourself, where do you take the money and where do you keep them? Who is being held accountable? People should be sacked. Not just sacked, people should be prosecuted. If it is fines, they need to be given fines. If it is jail time, they need to do jail time. We need to put people in a place where they have to understand that you've been placed there to become caretakers over a national property. It is not yours. You don't run it a business like how you own it and then you decide I'll do it anyway. If it goes down, it goes down. It looks like that's what we've done. I said we did Ayabanyejuma. That is the term outside there. So I mean, it's for the government. At the end of the day, people don't take responsibility for their actions. It's high time we put people in their places. If people need to get a sack, let them go. Let us realize that we are now in a society or a community where you either do the work or you go and sit home. We'll get someone to come and do the work. You are not irreplaceable. We can replace you at any point in time. And that is where we need to go. I think this will take us years to recover. That is the sad truth. We won't get a good pitch in months. I believe if Ghana is going to come back and play play a national team game here, it's going to be next year.
Well, I mean, so Larry isn't really confident that the Black Stars will be playing any home game in the country this year. Jonathan, I mean, it's really shameful talking about this. we all saw the Confederation of African Football president speak about the issue with regards to pitches. It was very clear that he was referring to Ghana because it's gotten that bad for a country that has been to the World Cup 4 times, been to the Africa Cup of Nations so many times, won it 4 times. We should be in a state where we have world-class facilities, but unfortunately we don't have that. My question to you is that how bad is this going to affect the national team, especially looking at the way the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers have already begun for Ghana? 1 point in 2 games. There will be games in November, and then there will be games in October and then November. And by the end of the year, we would find out whether we've qualified or not for the Africa Cup of Nations. It doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, and just as you ended it, it doesn't look good at all. And this is the reason why the former captain of the Black Stars, Stephen Appiah, termed it as a national embarrassment. Even the coach of the Black Stars. You know, we are talking about a team that people even set them up for where they go. I mean, people just set them up to throw them. People at times just attack the Black Stars about passion. But I don't think if Thomas Partey is my brother and he plays for us now, he plays for AB Atletico de Madrid, I will call him to come and then injure himself, on the Baba Yara pitch. We are talking about a country that we were once called the Brazilians of Africa, the gateway to Africa as we speak. But we don't have a fit stadium. We don't have a fit edifice to even host football. You know, someone will say, upon all the hardship that people are going to complain that it is in this country, it shouldn't be that we've not pumped resources to the national facilities. Our current president can boast of pushing money and resources into facilities, but there's nothing to show for. And why? Who are you going to blame? We are talking about a country that spends close to $1 billion to host African games. Is someone going to say we don't have the resources? 6 months ago, but now we don't even have a CAF Category 3 game pitch to host our national games. So you check all of these things, and you remember that even prior to our AFCON in Ivory Coast, Chris Hughton submitted a bid of the Black Stars going to train in Johannesburg, far away in South Africa. Ghanaians were complaining, but at this point, we have no option than to agree. Chris Hughton said that because there's no proper pitch. Recently, the communication director for the GFA, Henry Asante Chum, affirmed the fact that upon the 6 boreholes around Pram Pram, the Ghana Soccer of Excellence, you go there, the Black Stars cannot even train over there. Rondo, 4 posts community bebu. We can't play Rondo over there.
Take it easy on them.
No, and I can't blame them because administration have gone, administration have come, and still the problem remains the same. You can sack Mustafa Isif today, but we've seen this problem seeping through our administration. This problem has been there. This thing is now like a canker on Ghanaians. We know it. We will talk. There's no Professor Peter Twumasi, but just recently, the interim boss is also sacked. Yeah. You ask him, and they'll tell you that we have no option. Football is not earning us the revenue to even maintain it. I remember in the time of Professor Twumasi, we handed over the Accra Sports Stadium to Ampoteke, Stoneboy. I'm not blaming Stoneboy. Stadiums are also used for such purposes, but the money that they got, what did they use it for? We saw Bike, using their ties, just scratching the surface. Just 3 weeks later, Hearts of Oak needed a pitch they didn't get. They have to play on a neutral venue, costing the club money. We are talking about the Black Stars. And I'm repeating the words of, CAF President Motsepe. How can a country do football not in front of their own people? How can the Black Stars? It is not possible to do football outside, abroad.
He actually says it's frustrating for him.
Frustrating for him,
Yeah.
How much more the players?
Yeah.
I remember Inaki Williams playing first time against Liberia. Just a friendly game at the Accra Sports Stadium. It was on a rainy day. He slipped 7 times. He touched the ball 3. Slipping 7 times 3. The rest was just running into spaces. No atiato because the pitch is no good.
Well, the worst of it was that we had our player ejected from the team that traveled to Morocco because he picked up an injury by just training at the Baba Yara Sports.
Just look at that.
It tells you that how bad this is. But then at the moment, what we have, or what we can confirm, is that now Accra House of Oak and then Accra Lions will be playing at the Legon, University of Ghana.
One of the bad decisions I see so far.
Yeah, so the thing is that, and then there is already Legon
cities over there.
Yeah, that are also using the pitch. Well, we'll try and then reach out to someone from Legon cities before the show ends about the pressure the University of Ghana Sports Stadium will be enduring by this decision. But then, still with regards to the pitch issues, we have two teams that are actually participating in African football, FC Samatex and then Nswatriman FC. They played their first leg last week. Nswatriman FC lost at home by 2-0, and then they lost to Constantine of Algeria. And then Raja Casablanca also managed a 2-2 draw with Samatex here in Accra. So the thing is that now we have another pitch issue or stadium issue. If Samatex and then Nswatriman FC advance to the next stage of the competition, what it means is that Ghana, none of our teams will be participating or will be playing their home games here in the country. I mean, how does this affect a team like FC Samatex? Looking at the fact that in terms of finances, in terms of budgets, I mean, they are already struggling. Going to Africa itself is a financially consuming adventure for a team like FC Samatex and then Nswatriman FC. Larry, we talk about these things because we are passionate about our Ghanaian clubs. Already, we are under participating at the competition because we have only two teams representing us, and then you have these issues with pitches also happening. Do you think that if Samatex fail to make it out of fail to make it into the group stages, they would also be using the stadium as an excuse? Or if they end up making it out of the group, how would they be able to go through their matches playing outside the country?
I'll start with the former. I think if they fail to make it, the pitch shouldn't be a big issue. I think that would be down to the performance, right? I think the pitch will be about just 25%. We all heard Raja Casablanca's coach, go at us for that pitch they used in Accra.
And he's not the first.
He's not the first coach to actually go that. Angola's coach said it disgracefully and gave it to us, woto like that. You get it. I think it will be down to the performance, and I've heard a lot of people writing off Samatex for this weekend's game, and I know it's difficult to go to Morocco and get a win against a whole Raja Casablanca, but if Samatex plays the way we know them to, play, if they are that good like they did last season, in the Ghana Premier League, they can get a good high-scoring point, and that will qualify them to the next stage. And I'm hopeful. At least I'm one of the hopefuls who are, backing them up against this game. For logistics and finances, see, sometimes I want to put myself in the shoes of these owners, and it's frustrating.
All right. Before I let you continue, I mean, we have the spokesperson of Legon Cities on the line. Good afternoon, Kwame Jumo.
Good afternoon, Lukman.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Yourself?
I'm also doing very, very well. I mean, for someone who's done a lot of football in the past few years, I mean, we are at a point where a stadium has become a huge issue for clubs and then even the national team. Legon Cities started the season by confirming that they will be using the University of Ghana Stadium as their home venue. Now we have Accra House of Hope and then Accra Lions joining you guys at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. How much of a pressure would that bring to the facility, and then the club itself? How would it affect Legon Cities?
Well, first of all, the facility is not for us.
Exactly.
So we have absolutely no control over who the authorities decide to give it to. Whether they are going to give it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, we have absolutely no control over that. The only worry or the only challenge that we may have going forward is that obviously when you have a lot more people using the facility, then it means that a lot of work has to go into the management of the grass or the management of the pitch. So I would want to believe that now that the authorities have decided that they are going to give it to a few more clubs, maybe they would have a plan in place to ensure that the pitch is in very good condition anytime any football club has to play.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, we all know when it comes to management, we all know how things are done in this country. At the moment, we don't have pitches to host even the national team because of the management or the poor management of our pitches. That will also bring some form of pressure on the facility itself. But then, I mean, with Legon Cities, you look at your schedules and then the schedules of these other
I don't
teams.
like how you are behaving at all. I'm not.
Yeah. Hello.
If you can just repeat what you said again.
Yeah, so
I lost you a bit.
Yeah, so I was saying that, I mean, with regards to scheduling, you have Accra Lions and then Hasselhoff also joining you guys at Legon. Is there any way that will also affect the scheduling of Legon Cities? Because there might actually be a clash in some of these fixtures.
Well, again, like I was saying, I mean, if you look at us as a football club, unfortunately, we don't have a facility of our own. So we will have to be dependent on pitches that are available. When we went to Legon, we thought that we were the only club that was going to be playing there. And now we don't know what is happening in the country. That's what the government intends to work on all the other facilities that we have. So once government is, looking at maybe like innovating the other facilities, I can understand that, the clubs who play on these government pitch. And that's why I can understand that there'll be a lot of pressure on the Legon pitch. But I'm sure it's only for the short term. In the long term, I'm sure there will be enough pitches for clubs to use.
Oh, okay. I mean, for Legon Cities, I mean, you have some real troubles with regards to pitches. I mean, you played at the Accra Sports Stadium as your home venue. You went to the Elwak Sports Stadium and then now Legon. Would Legon be that place for you guys, especially with regards to the fact that, I mean, you have most of your fans around?
Well, ideally, we want to link our club with the community. Legon was a great community for us. At this point, unfortunately for us, school is on vacation. But there are still a fair bit of people within the Legon enclave. I mean, everywhere from Legon, Shiba, Leshi, all the way to Medina, East Legon, and all of those communities. They're the first time the Premier League club is relatively close to them within that space. So, even if the students are not available, just people in the community would, if you like, I appreciate the fact that there's a Premier League club around. We don't just want them to come to us. We would go to them as well to at least let them know that we are here. We want to be a part of you. We want you to be a team. And together, we can grow the sport in that community.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is indeed a brilliant idea from a club like Legon Cities. But then, I mean, you've not had a very good start to the season. You lost to BBN Gold Stars and then Midiama just last week. What is the objective of a club like Legon Cities, especially this season?
Well, we are taking it like we've always done. It's only 2 matches. I always say that the league is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, yes. We may not have gotten the results that we wanted. We believe that in subsequent matches, we will be able to get results that will see us to a lot better in the Ghana Premier League.
All right, before I let you leave, you guys are traveling to Vision FC today. What should your fans be expecting in this particular game?
Well, we're going to put in our very best like we have done all the time, and then we hope for a good result against Vision.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kwame Jumo. Really appreciate your time with us today. Well, back to you, Larry. I mean, you were saying that you had confidence in Samatex to pull out a magic in Morocco. Yeah. I mean, they need a win. They desperately need a win to be able to make it make it to the group stages of the competition. But then even apart from that, if they are able to manage a 3-3 draw, they could also still qualify for the competition. What makes you feel like Samatex can really make it?
Well, Samatex went up against Raja here in Accra. Yeah. And if you watch the quality of the game, they went boot for boot. Mm-hmm. I even felt at the point Samatex could have won the game and should have been more careful with the ball. So it means that Samatex have the materials, they have the players to go head to head against Raja. The only technical thing that changes right now is the home support. And, we hear Raja saying they have a very good pitch and they can play their football. Well, Samatex will also be able to play on a very good pitch, right? So maybe it will be a win-win for both teams. And if only Samatex could actually stand on their toes, stand on their legs for the full 90 minutes and fight for a point, either win the game or a high-scoring draw, I think they could work out some magic and then get there. When they are done, I don't see how it's going to be easy on them. Maybe Togo is the closest, country here, so maybe we could speak to the Togo Football Association so that they could be using the State Dikege, for their games, which will be less, financial burden on them. But what they need to cross the first bridge. So I'm praying they do so.
All right. I mean, Jonathan, he's spoken about Samatex. Now, in Nsukriman FC, they lost their first game at home to Constantine. It's definitely going to be a mountain to climb in Algeria for them. Do you think Samatex, Nsukriman has any chance of progressing to the group stage?
Before I even go to Nsukriman with Samatex, Nature will even be happy if Samatex don't qualify because they don't have a park, they don't have a pitch. That is nature. It's a natural rule. You can't go by it and tell me that you want to qualify. Put them aside. And even for them, they played an empty stadium at the Accra Sports Stadium, with a 2-2 draw. And they think they will qualify.
So imagine they go to Togo.
No, it is not possible. They can't go and win far away in Morocco. Hearts of Oak were able to beat Raja 1-0. They went there and they collected 6 goals. They were defeated by 6 goals. Put that one aside. We are talking about Nsukriman, another club that only relies on either one of these stadiums, maybe Baba Yara or Accra Sports Stadium. As we speak, they are all closed down. So the law of nature agrees with what I'm about to say, that it is over for Nsukriman and Samatex. Their CEOs should just save their monies for the Ghana Premier League trips around here to build something better until we have a good pitch. Put the quality of the team aside. We are talking about inexperience in Nsukriman. Their first time ever, their debut. Someone will say Dreams FC were able to do it with a highly technical coach, a coach who has seen something in African football. We are talking about Yao Preku. I know you mentioned something that he went to Nigeria, he went to, coach there for some two. No, against Constantine in our home backyard, there was not even a single supporter. The voices at the Accra Sports Stadium was not even able to shout louder in the ears of the players to know that you are fighting for something. Maybe. You are playing for something. Aside in Nsukriman, you are representing, a country. We call ourselves football nation. But the fans in Nsukriman were not able to find their way to Accra to support their team.
So the thing is that I was at the stadium for that game between Nsukriman FC and then Constantine. Between FC Samatex and then... Raja Casablanca. It will interest you to know that the fans of Raja Casablanca were more than the fans of Samatex. And so it's quite interesting the way football has really fallen in this country. Even with regards to our local football, the fans don't go in like they used to be. But then away from the CAF Champions League, just briefly on the UEFA Champions League, it started with a new system. Real Madrid are all guns blazing, started very, very well, defeated Stuttgart by 3-1. Inter Milan were able to hold Manchester City to a goalless draw. There was also Bayern Munich defeating Dinamo Zagreb by 9-2. I mean, are there any early favorites to this competition so far? And then, of course, I'll mention his name again, Bobby Charlton, that goal.
Henrik. So, talking about favorites, now we have the league format to get to the round of 16. Fast forward, teams that will be scoring high-scoring goals, 9-8, they are proving a point that they want to compete. I can't mention for FC Barcelona because after match day 1, if you allow in, 24th, meaning if today something happens, Barcelona will have to play in the knockout before they even qualify for round of 16. And this is a giant in Europe. So we are talking about Aston Villa seizing the opportunity because league format, meaning you need goals. Bayern knowing that they scored 9. Real Madrid were able to get 3. Manchester City, unfortunately, were not able to get, even Aston Villa were able to get 3. Celtic were able to get 5. So you check the goals and you start to ask yourself the question that the clubs that are ready to play and make a point are the clubs that are going to score the high goals, number of goals. You can't go away with Bayern. They are on top with quality. Manchester City, we shouldn't forget that in the Champions League, City hardly finds its luck. the season that they won it, they came through with some sort of magic. But before that season, we saw Chelsea thumping them. We saw Real Madrid coming back even at the Etihad to get a draw to knock them out. Yeah. So it is not going to be a walk in the park thinking that City with their squad, they were able to be stopped by Italian club called Inter Milan, which even they changed most of their players with some new crop of players. But Acerbi, 36-year-old, was able to stop Erling Haaland. So you can be thumping 9, 10, 20 in the EPL, but in the UCL it is going to be difficult. So I think going into match day 2, we are going to see new surprises. Aston Villa against Bayern is going to be a new game. FC Bayern with Barcelona is going to be, a cracker match for them. Hansi Flick facing his former club, hoping to turn things around for Barcelona. I think the new UCL is there for us to see, exciting matchups, and they are going to be underdogs in the first 8 to qualify for the round of 16.
We are almost out of time, but then Larry, just briefly, your favorites to win this season's UEFA Champions League? Liverpool. Well, it's not surprising coming from a Liverpool fan. Well, unfortunately, that will be all time will allow us this morning on Sports Rally. But then the next show is Reggae Vibes with Heavy D. Enjoy your weekend and stay tuned to Z101.9 FM. Enjoy the rest of the day.